Just when you thought the media's credibility couldn't be any lower. I mean, how do you go below the basement, right? What's there? Now we're digging into the sheetrock. Now we're getting toward the magma, the core of the earth in terms of how low the media's credibility can go. Liquid, hot magma. So they had this op-ed published in the New York Times 2 years ago. And it was the summer of 2018. And I was living in D.C. at the time. I was doing this show, but also working for thehill.com. And so for D.C. folks, this became a big guessing game. Who's the anonymous op-ed writer? And in this op-ed, you'll recall, the New York Times claimed this was a senior administration official. A senior administration official. And we had to take their word for it that this person was of the kind of stature where we would care that they didn't like what the president was doing, that it would matter to anybody that this individual would stab the administration that he was working for in the back, and then, somehow we're going to believe this person, think that they're almost being heroic, and that they matter. Remember, that's key, that they matter. I was highly skeptical the whole time. I mean, people were saying crazy stuff. It's one of Trump's kids. I was like, no, it's not. Oh, it's the White House. It's the White House press secretary. No, it's not. It was so obvious. None of that was true. But they had to present something in a way that people would actually pay attention to it. So that's why they said a senior administration. If they say that, an intern at the Department of Commerce wrote something about Trump, no one cares. No one cares. But an anonymous person who's really important and powerful and is working in secret as part of the hashtag resistance against the administration because Trump is so reckless and dangerous, that got a lot of attention because of all the guessing around it. And this was all rooted in whether or not you think the New York Times can be trusted, that its judgment can be trusted, that it's presenting this in a way that is responsible and is fair-minded, which I know is even as I say that to you, it's how can those words even come out of my mouth? But that's what that's how they set this whole thing up. Well, now we know who the anonymous op-ed writer is. And just as I said at the time, this is some low-level schmo that no one cares about. Just as I said originally on this show then 2 years ago, it's now taken us 2 years to find this out. Guess who this guy is? Some nobody at DHS who's good buddies with fake Tapper and is already a CNN contributor. Oh, what a shock. This couldn't be any more perfect. He's the former DHS chief of staff, Miles Taylor. But when he wrote the op-ed, this is the best part, he wasn't even DHS chief of staff, which, let me be clear, would absolutely not qualify as a senior administration official. Nobody gives a crap who the DHS chief of staff is. It's a job like thousands of other jobs in the federal government. Good for you, right? I'm not saying anybody who has that job shouldn't be taken seriously in their role, but this is not impressing anybody in the national political conversation. No one who sits around talking about, oh, I was chief of staff to an attorney general. Who cares? Chief of staff, this is not something that qualifies as senior and important government position. DHS, DOJ, Commerce, whatever, right? This doesn't matter. But here he is, Miles Taylor, who is a senior advisor to DHS when he wrote this, which is just hilarious. But here he's come out. He wants everybody to, and this guy, he everything about him fits to a T what we thought this guy would be. I mean, he reminds me of the pajama boy looking guy from who's on CNN now. He used to work for Comey at the FBI. Really doing a lot of damage to the FBI's already tattered reputation, but I digress. Here's Miles Taylor, anonymous op-ed writer. Play one.
It's a character study of one man, the president of the United States. And it wasn't me throwing other colleagues under the bus. The point was to focus on him and his record. And if you go back in time, Chris, our founding fathers did this. When they wrote the Federalist Papers to defend the passage of the Constitution, did they do it in their own names? They did it under pseudonyms, and they did it for a reason. Is Madison and the other authors didn't want it to be about them and their personalities. They wanted the people to debate the ideas. And I wrote this, Chris, because I wanted people to debate the ideas and Donald Trump's character and record. But again, I want to point out to you, I had no fear about putting my own name on the line here. And that's why I did it months ago. So people could come out and challenge me. They could pick apart my record.
I mean, what a slimy little fraud. Isn't it just so great to see who this is finally? Yeah, first of all, he's comparing himself to the founding fathers. Yeah, it was about the ideas with them. Does he really think that this is going to fly? We weren't debating Donald Trump's character enough before he wrote this op-ed? Like, we're all so dumb. We don't understand what happens here. If he writes this under his own name, nobody cares. But what he did was use the reckless Trump derangement syndrome inspired complete lack of judgment from the New York Times. I mean, lack of judgment meaning in terms of fairness and ethics. But they saw this as a ploy. They saw this as a way to both hurt Trump, create dissension in the ranks among senior Trump advisors, and put forward this myth, because that's what it was, that one of Trump's top people really thought he was a reckless danger and would leave the job, but he knew that if he did, the country would be in peril. This guy, Taylor, is only somebody we're talking about now because he pretended by being anonymous to be more important than he was. And now he's, oh, no, it wasn't about me. Please, dude, you're already a CNN contributor. Give me a break. It's gross. This reminds me of a guy who was at the NSC, and he wrote that editorial about how he had been an intelligence professional and Donald Trump is terrible and he's a nonpartisan intelligence professional. And then it came out that this guy worked for Ben Rhodes and donated thousands of dollars to Democrat candidates in the last election cycle. It's like, okay, so you're a super partisan hack, but you're writing an editorial as a nonpartisan intelligence official. These people are just such little frauds, but they're so used to being in these places, in these media and academic and bureaucrat ecosystems where they get to do this whole, oh, I don't have any politics. I just happen to always have Democrat politics. Yeah, big shock, folks. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.